Hi everybody, it's Sarah and it's Fabulous Friday, and today we're talking about that voice that we call our eating disorder, that really harsh, defiant, rigid, inflexible, mean voice that tells you you're not good enough at every chance it gets. And we're learning how to separate that voice from the voice of truth, the voice of authenticity, of love, of yourself, of recovery, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if this is unique to me, but I constantly have a dialogue going on in my head. And I didn't used to. It used to be just the eating disorder voice in my head. But now, a lot of DBT thoughts have sort of replaced that voice. So things like, oh, I'm observing this, I'm noticing that, I had an experience like this before, this is what I decided to do about that, I'm pleased with the results because it made me a better person, how can I do that again? Just constantly taking in the world and just seeing how you can better yourself for it and how you can grow from it. And I think that we're all on the path of quote-unquote recovery, even if we don't have an eating disorder or addiction or whatever. We're all trying to better ourselves. We're all trying to, leave a legacy we can be proud of. We're all trying to make our mark on the world. And, some of us just got misled by this eating disorder voice. And we just have to reclaim that voice of recovery, that genuine voice of truth that we all have. And it's a much quieter voice. It's never angry. It doesn't yell at you the same way. And that's why you have to listen carefully. And that's why you have to listen, for a long time. And that's why you have to just be, very careful about how you expend your energy. One of the things that I'm very deeply opposed to is meeting that voice with hostility or with judgment or with, oh my god, how am I so stupid? How can I do this again? Because you're just feeding it again. And over and over and over again, you keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. Whereas if you meet it with, neutral indifference, and you decide, you know what, yes, that's the way that I thought at one point. I don't want to think that way anymore. It doesn't work for me anymore, so I'm going to try something new. The less energy you invest into trying to get rid of that voice, the faster it'll go away. The other thing I found is that my head is a lot noisier a place without the eating disorder voice in it. There's voices of experience, there's voices of values, there's voices of beliefs, there's voices of friends, there's voices of people I admire, there's voices all over the place. And it's not that I hear them, it's just that they're an integral part to my experience. And my experience, your mind is almost like a network. And the more links that you can make with the good voices, the voices you want to keep, so the voices of truth, of authenticity, of compassion, of that kind of thing, the more links they make with each other and exclude that really harsh, eating disorder voice, the faster they crowd out that eating disorder voice. And it's very much like recovery, in that you're left with, well, what am I going to do when I don't have my eating disorder? Or what am I going to do or think about when I don't have my eating disorder? So what am I going to hear when I don't have my eating disorder? Well, there's going to be other voices that come in and sort of take their place. And they're going to be kinder, more constructive, but they're quieter, and you do have to listen. It doesn't scream at you. It doesn't berate you. But if you don't believe it to be true, it also doesn't, drive it home the way the eating disorder voice will. So, although you may not feel like a good person. This kind, positive voice is telling you that you're a good person. You know, it's not going to tell you forever. I don't know, it's very hard to explain. You have to listen to it, and you have to not take it for granted, but at the same time, you have to be able to rely on it. I know it's there for everyone, and you have to be able, I promise it's there for everyone. But it does take, it takes a chance to listen to it instead of what you're used to. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh yeah, I was going to give you an example. Okay. So, I had a candy that is quite high calorically. It's basically like pure sugar, but I love it. It's very good. And it's a maple candy, so kind of Canada specific. And as I was walking to the bus, I was eating this, and my eating disorder voice, which is still there, although I don't hear from it very often, tries to tell me you're eating a lot of calories. You just had supper, you don't need those extra calories. Rather than meet that with hostility, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you're right about that. We'll leave that thought later. And this lady walks by with a cat on her lap. Like she's in one of those wheelchairs. And she walks by with a cat in her lap. And this cat has a leash. And so I'm thinking, wow, this is very strange. Because every cat that I've met, and I've had a lot of cats in my lifetime, will not let you anywhere near them with a leash. And it reminded me of a cat that I had before, Homsy. And then it made me laugh because there's no way that Homsy would ever let us near him with a leash. He's no longer with us, but he was quite the snarky attitude cat. And he used to growl to have us turn the fireplace on. It was a gas fireplace, so there was lots of heat. And so I'm thinking about all that, and she's going, oh, well, where's Spark Street? And someone was telling her where Spark Street is. And I'm thinking, oh, what's at Spark Street? There's, an event going on at Spark Street. And I'm thinking about my cat. And I'm thinking about the cat I have now, and how lucky I am to have her, even though she has a cold, and has been sneezing all over the place. And then I think about how much she loves me, and how much I love her, and how amazing love is in general. And as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of that eating disorder thought. The eating disorder thought is not capable of connecting with a concept as complex as love. So, the eating disorder voice has no place in that situation, and has no role in that situation. And so the more thoughts that I connect with love, the more that I connect with, what's going on, how's that experience helping me, how can I make it grow, or how can I grow from it, and as far as I can build that network of thoughts that isn't related to the eating disorder or my negative self-esteem, the more powerful I get, and the more my eating disorder voice doesn't belong, because it's just like, we're not talking about how inadequate you are anymore. We're talking about how much someone loves you. I don't know how to talk about that, because it's only ever a negative voice. So the more you can extend your thoughts, and the more that you can link them with sound concepts that you believe in, and beliefs and values and that kind of thing, the less room there is for your eating disorder voice. And eventually it just has to shut up, because you're just like, you have no relevance in my life anymore. So I don't know if that helps at all. I looked at this topic, I'm like, how am I going to talk about that for 5 minutes? And clearly I've managed to. So I will talk to you soon, and I hope you all had a wonderful week. Hey, bye.